Yep. And if everything went well, we should be live now. Well, welcome
Great.
everyone to the first episode of Everything Outside Code for 2025. Yeah, I remember to say 2025. I've been saying 2024 all all week. Welcome to this episode. And typically on Everything Outside Code, we talk to an amazing founder, GTM expert, or just someone cool out there, an entrepreneur that's building a great product. We talk about the really hard parts of product development or shipping a great product, which is going to market. I think it's a really hard part. And today we have Niels Arts with us. Niels, you want to say hello to anyone listening to this?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Niels. Typically, for anyone listening, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them in the comments wherever you're listening to this. Today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, um, which is internationalization, right? I-18N. That's how I know it as a developer. But now I've come to think about how do you go global? We always talk about going global, but how do you go global? And how does that work? Niels is a co-founder of Clonable. So I think I would, and Clonable deals in internationalization and helping businesses go global. So we're going to be talking to Niels about Clonable, how it works, and how businesses can maybe with or without Clonable go global. So over to the man of the moment, Niels. You could tell us a bit about yourself and how you got here. Maybe not how you got to the stream, but how you got
Yeah,
to Clonable.
yeah. Do you want the long story or the short story? S-
Anyone. We have
yeah.
all the time. I mean, we have 40 minutes, but yeah, just give it a crack.
So yeah, I'm Niels Arts. I'm one of the co-founders of Clonable, and before Clonable, we started with an online marketing company. Um, I I think around 2010, I started with an online marketing company mainly to help e-commerce businesses to go um, do better search engine optimization or Google Ads and the complete strategy of building a web shop, uh, especially in the Netherlands, because I'm based in the Netherlands. But eventually, the web shops grew, and the Netherlands is only a small country. So a lot of times, the companies are checking out, like, okay, what's next? Um, Germany, is Germany the next big thing, or is France, or is England, the United States? They're always checking that out, and but that's very hard. And I noticed that like a lot of founders from e-commerce businesses, but also other businesses, thought, okay, let's do a translation, and then we go live, and then it's finished. But I got some experience in that. Like, okay, we do the web shop, we translate it, and then we put it live, and we will see. But the processes were very annoying. For instance, if you have a big web shop and you have like 20,000 products or something, one of the main problems is that the, the products are changing continuously. So when you are starting with all the translations and you're putting them on the website, the new ones are coming and they need to be translated too. So it's a continuous process. And
Hmm.
that is not something that most owners of businesses are facing when they think of internationalization. They think it's a one-time project. So a lot of times they come to the conclusion like, okay, we set up a project manager, and the project manager needs to handle all the translations. But the project manager has to deal with the owner. He has to check all the translations with the translator. Then he needs also to check with web developers if everything can be fitted into the web shop system. Sometimes there are legal issues, and a lot of other things are happening while they are doing the translations, because they see like, oh wait, um, there's some problem because the Netherlands isn't the same as Germany, because there are some legal issues. And while we were doing that, we also noticed that a lot of plugins for simple systems like WordPress weren't really, yeah, they weren't really useful. They made the site slow. It was annoying. It wasn't like the big shops or the big site owners. They still did it by hand. We're talking now like 2017 to 2018. So what we did is we were with two owners at the online marketing company. My co-founder, boss, and me. We noticed that there was a problem, and we also run a web shop ourselves. We had a field hockey web shop, and we wanted to internationalize that field hockey web shop. But field hockey, I don't know if someone plays it in Norway, but there aren't a lot of field hockey
Yeah,
players in Norway.
I don't think I've seen anyone.
No, so
I
field
know they
hockey
do
is,
play it here, but I don't think I've seen anyone.
yeah, but field hockey is very big in the Netherlands. There's a lot of people
Hmm.
playing it, but it's quite small in other countries. But at that time, we had like a price war. There were like a few web shops competing in the prices, and we decided we didn't want to compete and like get our margins really low. So we thought we go to foreign countries, but it had to be very, very efficient, because there was only a small market in Germany, a bit in France, in Spain. So we needed to come up with a solution. And at that time, there was a young kid working at us. We always employ young part timers, young whiz kids, and the young whiz kid we were hiring was 19 years old at the time, but he was already coding since he was 8 years old, and he came up with a solution in cloning websites. And for us, that was great because we could clone websites from the Netherlands to Belgium, for example. And
Hmm.
eventually, we made it happen that we also could add languages. And from that time, we showed it at an event, and people were in line to see our product demo. And that product demo made us decide like, okay, this is a really cool product. We were really naive in getting the product to market, but we thought we already saw like, okay, this is great, we can make something out of this. And we decided to like leave the online marketing company as it is, and full focus on the new company that was called Clonable. So that's a bit of the history
Yeah,
of our product.
yeah, that's a pretty interesting history. Why the name clonable?
Um, Especially because we wanted to clone websites. It was
Okay.
it was not at first it was not meant to also serve as a multilingual solution. It was
Hmm.
only meant to clone the Dutch website into a Belgian version, because
Yeah.
Belgium has the problem of two languages, and has also a really small like field hockey uh, base. But
Even smaller.
yeah, but we wanted to reach that customer as well. So we wanted to reach the Dutch customers in Belgium,
Hmm.
and that was really hard because the Google only allows you to focus on one country with
Yeah.
one website. So we needed to have a Belgium website, but with cultural adaptations. So for instance, one word in in the Netherlands, a Dutch word, isn't the same in Belgium. I think it's the same in English. You also have like English words for the UK, but in the United States you say them differently.
Yeah.
And it's the same for the Netherlands. So we wanted to do cultural adaptations, but clone the website and make sure that like 99% of the website stayed the same, but only the small tweaks that was changed for getting a better UX and better conversion
Yeah.
rate for that country.
Yeah. That's interesting. So as you say this, I have this thought, and I start to think: is translation and internationalization, are they the same? Or what's your thought on that? What's the difference?
No, 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 no. Translation is only setting up the language, but
Okay.
internationalization that's really something different. Internationalization handles all the parts of the process in getting to another country, and that's what we want to achieve because we see that. You need to do the translations. You need to do
Mm-hmm.
cultural adaptations. You need to check if the legal stuff applies as well in the other country. We aren't as far in the legal stuff at this moment yet, but for example, in Germany, you have to have like a very strict legal documentation on your website for e-commerce, and that isn't the case in the Netherlands. But a lot of owners don't know that, and if they start with internationalization, they come up with these problems during the process of internationalization. And we want to be like a certain guideline. And we want to make sure, okay, you start with the translations, and along the way you see that there are other stuff that needs to be done as well, and we guide you into that or direct you to people who know. So sometimes we just say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you better reach out to this logistics expert, or you go to someone that knows a lot more about a really specific proofreading of a translation, for example.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. I would think, within, or at least the question I have is, how important is this? Knowing maybe all the requirements before selling in different like geographical location, before selling in different countries, especially in say Europe, for instance. How important is it to comply?
Um, in some cases, it isn't important at all, but you need to be aware of what there is. So sometimes people say, you have to do it uh, really uh, like really perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to do that as long as you know uh, where you are not perfect. It's sometimes great to start and to just test, but as long as you know, like, okay, we're testing, so the results may be a bit lower than expected, but as when we tweak certain points in a later stage, we can get higher results. And but the other way is also happening. So sometimes people just go too far with getting everything too perfect, and then the margins are really low. So
Mm-hmm.
what we sometimes advised when we were an online marketing company, and we went to we did a lot of Google optimization. Um, a lot of companies in the Netherlands wanted to go to Germany because Germany is a big market, but the costs of getting high in Google in Germany are also higher because there's a lot of competition. Sometimes we advised like okay, I think your product is really good to go to Denmark or to Norway because they have also like high incomes, but the competition is maybe a lot lower. And you don't have to be perfect to enter the Danish market or the Norwegian market maybe. While you when you want to go to the German market, you have to be perfect because all the Google optimization from the other competitors is really good, and that's what you need to be aware of. Like, okay, I want to test, and maybe if it's not a right fit, I can get away again, but only have to spend a small amount of money, and yeah, that's something that a lot of people just don't know. And of course, if you want to go to another country, you're always a bit naive, I think, because you don't know anything. Even
Hmm.
when you have a lot of good advisors, you just don't know anything about your product that you need to sell there, or it's always a bit of a blind spot that you have. So
Yeah. I guess that brings me to like my next, like the thought I had, which is as a founder, let's say maybe not e-commerce, but a SaaS product that can be sold anywhere. I mean, what if, I mean, most SaaS products start out being in English, right? But then at some point you realize that your product serves maybe some niche use case that it has to be localized, right, for a certain country. What do you do if you need to, like, if you need to make a move to go global and serve various markets? What are some of the steps from your experience, and also maybe how Clonable fits into this? But what does that workflow look like for founders?
uh, um, I can tell you a bit, but I'm still learning myself. So
Okay.
I am a SaaS founder, and we are also in the process of internationalization ourselves. Um,
Hmm.
and we we want to really have a good product before we internationalize. But for every founder, that's different, I think. Sometimes what we have is a product that needs a lot of service. We have a lot of service that is needed, especially at this time yet. So we think we first need to optimize all our processes before we really accelerate in other countries. But we're still doing some small steps already to check out the market, to check out which customers can be a good fit, but also really to check out like the cultural differences. Um, it's really about small things that are different. In the Netherlands, for example, we are really, and it's a well-known fact. Like, okay, we like cheap stuff. We are Dutch. Are like, okay, we like cheap things. So if you sell like SaaS products in the Netherlands, there are always people that are interested if it's cheap. But in other countries, it isn't always that way.
Yeah,
So
cheap means
um,
inferior in certain
yeah,
places.
indeed. So, but in the Netherlands, it's like, okay, we'll try, and everybody knows like, okay, it's cheap, so maybe there's some problems with it, but I don't mind if it still does this and this thing. What for me is interesting, but like in Germany, yeah, you first have to do a lot of the product needs to be really good, and that's the same for like in Japan. If the product like a demo isn't really good, people aren't interested. So you need to be aware of all those cultural differences a lot,
Yeah.
and that's what we try to do. But of course, being if you do that for too long a time, then it's yeah, it's also you need to be trying and learning as you do. So you need to make mistakes, I think,
Yeah.
before you know how to do that, and we
Yeah.
are in the process as well.
Do you think it's worth finding like an expansion consultant that would like guide you, maybe someone that knows it, or would you say like it's enough as a SaaS founder to just wing it and learn along the way? Because I've worked at also companies in the past that once you raise money and you hint at expansion, you get bombarded by folks, like leads, people reaching out to you, be like, hey, I can help you expand operations, stuff like that. So do you think it makes sense for founders to be like, okay, yeah, let's get like an expansion consultant, or they should just try and then wing it? How expensive is it in the
Yeah,
short and long run? Maybe from your experience too.
it could it could be worth it, but the first thing that needs to be said is I think you need to be open for it as well, because
Hmm.
at first you are also like, every founder is a bit like arrogant, or like I know best. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, you only tend to listen when it's going the wrong way. So I think you need to have some bad experiences before you listen to others.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and like in this market, but it's in multiple markets. There's a lot of like pirates. I think like also like the experts. Not everybody is an expert. I'm not an expert in a lot of things as well. So
Hmm.
and people may be listening to me. Maybe I'm giving a really wrong advice. So I think you need to check with like also like governmental institutions, or startup accelerators. Who's a good expert? Like ask them, because they have experience. They have experiences with them. If you just listen to anybody that's having a post on Facebook, or no, that's not the
Yeah.
right tactic, I think. So you uh, you need to have a goal with that expert as well. So we hired some people also, and sometimes we have good experiences, but we also have like had one bad experience, because we also just didn't have the right goals with the expert. We just said like,
Hmm.
okay, we want to go internationalize, but we weren't ready to go to internationalize at that time, because our product wasn't really ready to go. It had a lot of bugs. It was it was a, it was not working as it should be, and like the expert also didn't knew how to sell it abroad, how to do that, and we couldn't give him the right information. So yeah, it's really difficult how to advise someone, or anybody listening on what to do. I think getting a lot of information and getting some references about experts is really helpful. That's the one
Yeah.
thing I can say.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally I agree with you. Just like with hiring or seeking like advice from someone, you want to make sure that at least they know what they're saying before you before you bring them on board and trust them with like your quarterly company ambition and company goal, or your even like the goal for the year could be, we want to expand to this country, and then you bring in some quack expansion expert to
Yeah,
help
yeah.
you, and
Every,
and you end up
every
going nowhere.
yeah, everybody is making it more beautiful than it is. It's that's um, uh, yeah. Your expectations is also like, if you need to see the other country, or the other countries as a new business. It's hard enough to build a business with, for example, SaaS, or with other stuff in one country. And if you need to do it in two or three or multiple countries, that's even harder. So
Hmm.
and it's even more difficult to get a lot of focus on a country that's not developed yet. So it's not, you have, for example, you have a web shop, and it's really thriving in one country, and it's doing like 1 million plus, or 10 million revenue per year, and you go to Germany, or you go to Spain, or whatever country, and there you need to start all over again. And to really be persistent again, well, you see the other country has like 10 million revenue, and you need to scrape all the small income in the new country. That's really difficult, and I see a lot of people like losing their focus and losing their attention to that country, and losing all the uh, hours that need to be invested in that country, and then it's not going to be a success. It's only
Hmm.
going to be a success when you have a lot of focus, and you really hire someone, you invest in that country, the same as you did for the first country and for the origin country where you were focusing on. So
Yeah.
that's really important.
Yeah, I agree with you. I see a number of like I've seen folks that say, they're looking to expand to a different country. They understand that, it's a new country they're moving into, but then they still go with the same playbook as with where they're coming from, right? And they look to
Yeah,
apply the same thing, and they get over their heads and think, okay, our product is great. We've done like market survey. We think it's going to do great there, but then they go in, and they're hit by the culture, right? In Norway here, it's a thing that when you build, you need to build for you need to build for the world. At least now, you want to build a global product, but ideally, expansion starts from going to Sweden first, and then you move to Denmark. And when you
yeah,
conquer Sweden and Denmark, then you think about Germany. But rarely do people even make it to Germany.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
usually Sweden and Denmark, and then they get really good or they get really big there and they just stay there. And I start to think, is this like a cultural barrier? Because within the Scandinavian countries, the culture is pretty similar. The language is similar, the way of life similar. But once you go past that, totally different, even though the product is not changed.
yeah, yeah. But it's like when I told you about the Google optimization. Like a lot of things are the same. So Google optimization is also a lot of web shops do the same stuff. So they try to optimize the text, and they do this and they do that. And 98% of the text and all the stuff can be automated. So
Yeah.
everybody is doing the same. It's the 1, 2, 3% manual work, and that makes the difference on being like on page 4 or 5, or on page 1. And it's the same with internationalization. If you take your product, and it's you can do 98% the same, but the 2 or 3 or 4%, that's really important to change. And
Yeah.
sometimes people are not doing that and just copy pasting. And it is
Hmm.
like you can clone, but you still need to do some personalizations, and you need to be aware of cultural differences, doing other marketing, um, like in Germany, until now, a lot of people didn't use LinkedIn. Uh, they used Xing. I
What's
never
that?
used Xing. Yeah, Xing is like the LinkedIn for Germany. It was, because now LinkedIn is also getting much bigger than Xing. But uh, there are still a lot of people not on LinkedIn. So if you have a tactic on to reach out on people on LinkedIn in Germany, it still will have a lower effect than in other countries. Um,
Yeah.
those are like small differences, but you need to be aware of, and you need to just adapt your strategy a tiny bit to get it successful.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, thinking about this, doing the going the last mile, right,
Yeah,
brings me to another interesting topic, which I everyone talks about these days, which is artificial intelligence and AI with internationalization. Uh, it's super easy to build a localization product that can translate the web shop. I built one personally a couple weeks ago. I spent a weekend,
hmm,
and I already have like a Chrome extension that translates any page. Just drop it on the page and it translates it into any language, powered but obviously by ChatGPT, right? How does this affect localization or internationalization in general, in your opinion, right? Where people can now quickly um, translate websites, at least get the translation part completed quickly. How is that affecting that industry for you?
For us as clonable, or just for
Yeah,
the markets in general?
yeah, I think both as clothing and the market in general.
For us at Clonable, we just see new innovation possible. So we are a SaaS product, and we need to develop our product with the innovation that is done around the world. So
Hmm.
we always make sure that our products can be renewed and are really up to date with all the current technologies and all the current possibilities that are available. So what you need to be doing, what you need to do is at this stage, for example, it's not enough to just translate with Google Translate, because people see that it's translated by Google Translate. While a few years ago, if you had it translated by Google Translate, people were like, "Whoa, this is great! Ooh, this is really really nice." And okay, I see some problems, but that you achieve this is really achievement on itself. Um, you just need to develop. I think the technologies with AI will make a lot of things easier, um, but it also raises the bar. So the ones that are 3% better than the other ones will get the most business. They will get the most optimizations. It's that's Those are the ones that will thrive, and we as Clonable need to be one of the 3%. That's what we like to be, and we will focus on internationalization, not on the translation itself. So we want to become the internationalization tool of Europe, because Europe has a lot of challenges, and all the different countries, languages, rules, cultural adaptations. So there's a lot of to do. So we still
Yeah.
can develop a lot. So we're not hitting the barrier at this moment.
Hmm.
And I think the next years we still have a lot of work to do, and a lot of customers can get some value out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know what the future brings, and what kind of solutions will be there in a few years.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a year is a long time these days in technologies. Within a year, so much has changed. If you look back to like a year ago, there are a lot of tools and capabilities that we have currently that wasn't available to us a year ago. But I do like what you say about being part of the 3%, because with AI, it's easy to get to 95%,
Yeah,
90%, right? Easy to
yeah,
get some ways, not even some ways, get a long way there. But then differentiation comes in that final bit.
yeah,
And I agree with that, because recently I think also something AI has done for me is honing my ability to spot bullshit. And
yeah,
it's reduced my tolerance to something that is of poor quality a
yeah.
lot, because I feel like I want to see great quality. So if I see something that isn't poor quality, maybe I've become a perfectionist just because of like AI tools, but I want to see great quality stuff. And when I see two products, one is just some ways better, some way maybe presentation, the copy, the content, and the other one is good, but it's not great. I just have this affinity towards like the one that's great, and the one that's good, I'm like, yeah, it's not good enough.
Everybody likes to be lazy. but that's not the way the world works. I think if
True.
you just do a lot of work, then you will be rewarded sometime. But
Hmm.
not when you just like make the 2000 tool for whatever with AI. It's not interesting, and if you just don't care about the going to market and about the strategies and about adaptations, yeah, you're not going to make it, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not going to make it. Yeah, that's that's cool. Well, I know I'm optimistic about what's going to come with AI. Maybe in a year, 2 years from now, you could just drop in your website and it fixes the whole thing. It makes it ready
You,
for a
you
different market. Maybe that's what clonable becomes.
we will see. Maybe in a few years, in 10 years, websites don't even exist anymore. We will see. But
Yeah,
I think
that.
internationalization still we will be will be a thing.
Hmm.
So that's not going to change for like a
Hmm.
long period. So
Yeah,
we will see. We will help companies with that, and
yeah.
we will change with whatever the future brings.
Yeah, there's something you mentioned that I really liked, which is there's a LinkedIn alternative in Germany. Then I started to think about GTM with internationalization in general. When we think about growth and we think about social media channels, folks just see the big guys: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Maybe not TikTok soon, but those are the folks you see, right? But then I think about that there are niche platforms in different countries. Have you seen maybe some focus on these platforms being effective for founders? Is this something that they should actively seek out, like finding the alternative to LinkedIn in Japan and what that looks like?
Yeah, I'm not that I'm not really good at social media, I must say. Um, but the only thing that I can say as a founder is that you need to be aware of your niche, and if you're not really know your niche, you also don't know your go-to market. So uh, then you can try a lot, and you can try, like we tried a lot of as well, and we made a lot of mistakes as well. But then you're not um, shooting with hail, like trying this social media and trying that social media costs a lot of time, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that the big networks and the big social media platforms have. All the niches are there, uh, mostly. So in
Hmm.
LinkedIn, every niche is there. It's business, but it's a lot of niches are there. Um,
Yeah.
so if you want to go to other platforms, it's very challenging, but it can be rewarding. So
Hmm.
I'm in some groups in different platforms, and it is useful. And
Yeah.
I know some founders are really making some money there because they're all guys like me, and
Yeah.
yeah, we are a special group as well, and if you can help them, you can make money as well. So yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
ways to get attention.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, key takeaway from that for me would be you need to know where your customers hang out. One,
Yeah,
and
it's it's, it's
you need to focus. And if it's LinkedIn, if it's wherever it is in Norway, maybe it's Finn. We have something uh, a similar to LinkedIn jobs, for instance. You focus on that, and yeah,
yeah,
find
for
customers
us
there.
for us that was like we made the tool, and we thought like, okay, we got some customers really from the start. So we were like, oh, we think, oh, we have product market fit, yeah, this is
Yeah.
great, we can just start. But we got a lot of wrong customers, a lot of customers that didn't fit with what we wanted to be and how our product was going to be. So we wasted a lot of time about for those customers, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that you need to experience, and you need to be ready to just drop some customers or to get to the customer to the product market fit. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Anyways, I see we've come up on time, being very particular. But thank you so much, Niels. I guess final word would be anyone that's looking to go international, check out Clonable. If you cannot check out Clonable, text Niels, send him a
yeah,
message
just
on
you can
LinkedIn.
always make a demo, so it's free to try. So and if you have some questions, just contact me on LinkedIn or with mail. It's no problem.
Yeah, that's great. Any final words on your end, Niels? Anything else you want to add?
I want to thank you for this conversation. It's interesting
Yeah,
to be here and to talk about internationalization and about other stuff. So yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
that's great. It's nice hanging out with you as well. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, that's today's episode of Everything Outside Code. And see you all next week. Cheers.
Cheers.